A lot of people are new here. You probably weren't subscribed back when this happened. Last month, I uploaded a video fairly criticizing Sri, the man who was so pro-criticism that he decided to silence me with a copyright strike. This is a story of what happened, my thoughts on the matter, and the sad state of free expression in India. Let's begin. Hi, my name's Pranav and you're watching Science is Dope. The way YouTube's copyright system works is, when someone uses your copyrighted material, you have two options: a copyright claim or a copyright strike. The second option can have some legal consequences, which I'll talk about soon. If you choose to copyright claim a video, there are three ways you can do it. You can keep the video up and claim all the ad revenue from it. You can keep the video up and block all its ad revenue, and you can block the video and obviously block out its ad revenue. But if you copyright strike a video, then YouTube permanently blocks that video and the channel gets a copyright strike. 3 such strikes and your channel gets removed. Now, as a creator, if you feel any of these actions are wrong, then you have the option to challenge them. But if you challenge a strike, then you're inviting a potential lawsuit between you and the copyright owner. Now, what did the Art of Living people do to my video? They chose to claim the video and block it. And that's why the video went down initially. But that brings the question, why that option? Why not do a copyright strike? I mean, if you had the legal rights to the video, then why do a claim? Why not do a strike? Because they didn't have the legal rights. Here's the Indian Copyright Act of 1957 that protects me. Any work that is a criticism or a review cannot be considered a copyright infringement. My video is protected under fair use. Okay, so the law is not on their side. So how do you silence somebody without having all the legal consequences? YouTube hands the answer right into your hands. You can choose this option. You can claim the video and block it. No copyright strikes, no lawsuits. So that's what they did. Immediately I found a bunch of lawyers, consulted with them, showed them the original video, and they told me that it was in perfect fair use and easily defensible in court. I'm so grateful to the people who helped me find them, and I'm so grateful to the lawyers for being as helpful as they were. So what did I do? I challenged the claim and the video came back up, and people who missed it were able to see it again. Now, unfortunately, what happens is that when you dispute a claim, that dispute goes to the copyright owners. Because remember, there are no third parties or courts involved at this stage. Only you as the creator and them as the copyright owners. So when you dispute a claim, they have the option to accept or reject it. If they accept it, then the claim gets removed. But why would they accept it if they're trying to silence someone? They reject it, obviously. So the video went back down a second time. Now you can appeal this rejection, and so I did, and the video came back up. But the way YouTube works, again, that appeal goes to them and they can reject it, and they did, and the video went back down a third time. But this time the rejection leads to a copyright strike on the channel and the video gets removed permanently. And that's what happened to me. Now, this is scary for a creator because, like I said, 3 strikes and your channel gets deleted. So this is a very easy intimidation tactic that these copyright owners use on people they want to silence. But they chose the wrong guy to mess with because I've gone through this before with this video, and so I know what happens, and this time I had legal backing, so I was prepared to counter this strike. And so I did. And the process now is, after you file a counter strike on YouTube, they have 15 days to send you a legal notice, which if they fail to send a legal notice, the video comes back up and the strike on the channel goes away. So 15 days passed and they didn't send me a legal notice because obviously they wouldn't, because they can't defend this in court, and so the strike on my channel went away. But the video didn't come back up. Wait, what? I thought the video was also supposed to come back up after 15 days because I filed a counterclaim before, and that previous video came back up after the strike expired. So why not this one? Apparently the initial copyright claim that was used to block the video was still in effect. Yes, the one that I'd already disputed, that claim was still up, and this made no sense. This seemed like some kind of YouTube error to me. So I tried mailing YouTube. After a week of back and forth emails, I realized how unhelpful they were because they just asked me to dispute this copyright claim again. But I didn't want to go through this entire cycle one more time, so I just re-uploaded the video removing all the Shri clips. And thankfully that video is doing well now. Might have done better with the original clips, but what can you do? You take what you can get. But what's the general story here? On 2 different occasions, I've gotten copyright strikes on fair use videos because YouTube's copyright system makes it really easy to silence criticism. Free expression in India has always been under pressure. There was a recent incident where a reporter highlighted how PM Modi's rally in Gorakhpur caused an ambulance to be stuck in traffic. And the Gorakhpur police, instead of doing their jobs, tried to silence this reporter with threats and he had to flee.
गोरखपुर पुलिस मेरे पीछे पड़ गई। गोरखपुर पुलिस मुझसे चाहती है कि मैं वो वीडियो डिलीट कर दूं। और गोरखपुर पुलिस सिर्फ यहाँ तक नहीं मानती, गोरखपुर पुलिस मेरे घर तक जाती है, मेरे गांव में।
It's not just India, the East in general has this problem. For example, the initial days of the pandemic saw the Chinese government trying to silence doctors who were trying to bring this information out into the world by using similar intimidation tactics.
Well, we know that some warnings were ignored or silenced. Let's focus on this doctor who was working at Wuhan Central Hospital. And in December, he posted a warning about a potential outbreak in a chat group with fellow medics.
This is an attitude that's seen in most Eastern cultures, and it kind of starts at home. Right from a young age, you are taught not to question elders. People with authority and power are not to be questioned, and maybe as a mark of respect, that's a noble thing to do. But what ends up happening is the same unquestioned power and authority is used to silence criticism. What happens on YouTube is an extension of the exact same thing. The copyright owners, the ones with more power in these situations, have so much power that they can just hand out copyright strikes like candy to these small creators. I think the system of copyright on YouTube was designed with Western, especially American laws and attitudes in mind. The US is a country where free speech is not only legally protected but is also encouraged. But India is not a country like that. So this may be too much to ask, but I think YouTube should change its copyright system in India to adapt to this attitude. It shouldn't enable anyone from intimidating small creators by issuing copyright strikes. Because, like I said, they're not being used for actual cases of copyright infringement, but as a tool to silence criticism. Here's how I propose YouTube changes copyright system in India. And again, I know this is a lot to ask, but if YouTube could please consider this, that would be great. First, regarding the copyright claims, I don't see why this second step is necessary. I feel like all it does is waste time. The very first dispute, if it gets rejected, why not directly go to a copyright strike? I'll tell you why. Because if the copyright owner is gonna reject the dispute here, then they're gonna reject it here as well. And if a creator is prepared to dispute a claim at this stage, then why wouldn't they appeal the claim at this stage? But even if they dispute the claim at this stage and not do anything at this stage, then why not leave it alone in the first stage itself? That's my first suggestion. Remove the second step. If a dispute gets rejected, directly go to a copyright strike. I don't know why the system was designed this way, so tell me if I'm missing something obvious here. Second, and this is probably the more important of the two, there should be penalties on copyright owners handing out false copyright strikes. I've gotten a strike twice. Both times it was a false strike because the videos were in fair use. And I counterclaimed both times and I was successful. But both times absolutely nothing happened to the copyright owners for giving out false copyright strikes. It shouldn't be that way. Nobody should be able to hand out copyright strikes for free like this. They're just gonna copyright strike anyone even for genuine criticism. Sometimes they get someone else to do the strike on their behalf. Regarding what this penalty should be, I'd say give their channel a strike every time a copyright strike that they give gets successfully disputed. Don't let the system that you designed for genuine cases of copyright infringement be used as a tool to bully creators. There was a time when most of the world, particularly in Europe, people thought that the Earth was the center of the universe and everything else went around it. Galileo showed with observational evidence from his telescope that the sun was at the center of the solar system and the planets went around it. Who had the power at the time? The Catholic Church. And they tried to silence Galileo by punishing him with life imprisonment. All because what he said was against their holy doctrines. Thankfully though, his ideas had already spread, and thanks to people like Kepler and Newton, the heliocentric model was firmly established. My point is that Galileo's ideas were basically criticism and he was silenced. Criticism is a way for the best ideas to rise to the top. Criticism is like a filter that ideas must pass through, and if they can survive the filter, then they're probably good ideas. And criticism requires free speech. If those in power silence those not in power for saying something they don't like, then there's no free speech anymore. If they're afraid of a little bit of trolling or being made fun of or a few harsh words, then maybe the problem lies with them. They can just ignore the trolls or not take them seriously if they want. But if they get tools that help them not be criticized, then they'll use that to stop the genuine constructive criticism too. A lot of what I've said would be plainly obvious to most of you, but if you know someone who needs to hear this, share this with them. I have a couple of older videos on my channel where I was trolling a bit, making fun of someone or using some sarcastic humor, and I enjoyed making those videos at the time, but I feel that style came in the way of my words being taken seriously. People who don't agree with me, who watch those videos, will disregard every point I said, even the genuine ones, just because I was being a little disrespectful in some parts of the video. But the way I justified making those videos to myself was by saying that, hey, the people who do agree with me, I'm arming them with arguments that they can use during debates. But when I realized that all they were doing was sharing my videos on family WhatsApp groups, I realized that I was back at my starting point where I was not being taken seriously. So I've decided that whatever videos I do make from now on will be respectful in tone so that you can share it with your family. I'm just saying that this general attitude of not questioning authority should change. It's not just in the case of science, it can be anywhere in life. If something seems ridiculous, question it. Don't blindly believe it. I'm not saying that everything that sounds ridiculous is automatically false, but is that ridiculous idea robust enough to withstand genuine questions? If not, it's probably not a good idea. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, remember, science is dope.